Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. We are fast approaching the end of 1985, November 16th, 1985 here, and a really decent show. Here we've got a little bit of, well, no new talent, but newer talent. Jack Victory, Mike Reed to kick us off. Victory obviously has, in fact, been doing quite well as of late, even getting a Texas Championship match. Reed rolls through with a series of arm drags early, and Victory so poised and ahead of his time in terms of where he's at career-wise for this part of his journey. Reed, though, looks a little more crisp here. Maybe he feels like Victory will give him more. Not really sure what that's about, but the crispness is there, and it's worth noting. We then kind of see him go to a headlock. He cranks up on it pretty hard. They work the headlock for a couple of minutes, and there's a cutoff by Victory. Victory, right in the face of his opponent, stomps him. Uses a half crab type maneuver, although without turning the crab over, so I would just say a leg grapevine, that sort of thing. Victory is dominant during the second half of the match, working the leg continually, and it's clear that maybe they have a deeper plan for him. Do not see Gary Hart out there for this particular event. That doesn't necessarily mean he's not still affiliated or lightly affiliated. I'm not quite sure what that's about, or where the Gary Hart affiliation originally came from. One could assume, in heel sense, that maybe he's wanting to gain value from Victory if he wins a championship. Facebuster front suplex by Victory to get the win. Rick Rude and Mike Bond up next. Rude with, of course, his new manager, Percy Pringle. Pringle certainly satisfied with the acquisition of Rick Rude, and who wouldn't be. Rude really beginning to, I wouldn't say necessarily be at his best, but certainly in a good space. Mike Bond providing the opposition. We've seen Bond before. Bond, a good, albeit nondescript, journeyman wrestler. Rude kind of stalks around early. Rude really good with the stalling of the match, the pacing, and the like of that. Bond grabs an arm bar early and goes into a reverse chinlock. Of course, Rude uses the DDT, which he does call the Rude Awakening. I'd be interested to know why. I assume it's Jake Roberts being in the same territory why the Rude Awakening changes when Rude leaves. World Class, late 86, early 87. Percy Pringle, very animated on the outside of the ring. Percy is a phenomenal fellow, and he leads Rude to victory. Again, Rude does use the DDT. Really simple victory for Rick. And then we see a Missy Hyatt interview. She does not want to discuss Sunshine. She is buying her man, John Tatum, a new, I believe, Lincoln Continental or some car of some description. And again, the Percy Pringle promises that, before we get there, Percy Pringle promises Rude's going to be a champion, and he mentions that there will be other members to his stable upcoming, his dynasty upcoming, which is notable. Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams against Iceman King Parsons and Brian Adias. Hard to tell, and this will be there for a couple of months, so my apologies. Hard to tell them apart with the masks on, meaning Hernandez and Adams. So, a decent tag match here. Basic tag match, nothing really to write home about. But at the same time, good television filler. Parsons starts off, cranks on a headlock. The heels are having difficulty keeping things going in a direction they're happy with during the early stages of the match. That continues throughout the early stages. We tag off to Adias. Adias has the same level of control. The heels do not make constant tags. Adias off the ropes and hits shoulder tackles. I believe it is Hernandez that's in for the majority of the early stages. I mean, they do the masked switch. Obviously, the masks are because the heels have lost their hair and they are not happy with this. They are quite dissatisfied and uncomfortable and all of that good stuff. Adams and Adias, I would imagine, could be tag team champions somewhere in the future. The battle to take the masks off of the heels is a subcontext to the match. Heels break it down with chin locks, arm bars, and the like. And I mean, it's not, they also break it down with the use of the sleeper hold. When Iceman is in, he hits several jabs in a row, juking and jiving and doing all that he needs to do. Heels cut the ring off on Iceman towards the close of the contest. This does not make Brian Adias happy at all. Obviously, Iceman makes his way over for the hot tag, and once again the heels cut off. I mean, it's a very basic formulaic tag match. Hernandez hits the knee in the corner and or attempts to on Adias, misses the knee, and Adias goes for the spinning toe hold, and Adams is in the ropes. They pull a switch, and the heels manage to gain a victory after pulling the switch, loading up the mask, and there you go. Main event time as the missing link takes on Kerry Von Erich. We've seen this match before. Von Erich, of course, the former NWA champion. Missing Link in and out of the territory. Seems to be affiliated now with Percy Pringle. Interesting affiliation there. Obviously, Link needs someone to talk for him. Anyway, Kerry with a high vertical leap on the drop kick. Link runs around on the outside. Kerry blocks the buckle shot and sends the Link into the buckle. Obviously, this doesn't do much good as the Link hitting his head. Not going to affect the man with green face paint. So Kerry fights back and is rather aggressive. Obviously, Percy Pringle extremely satisfied with the head-based attack of the Link to the back of the leg and inner thigh of Kerry Von Erich. Kerry gets hit also with a low blow. Link to the buckle on the inside. Tries to hit a splash. Does not succeed. Kerry up and hits a punch. Kerry goes to the buckle himself. Has a little bit better attempted focus, but it is the use of the cane of Percy Pringle. Pringle does carry a cane, which the referee claims not to see. Horrible diving headbutt, and then Percy's in. Disqualification win for Kerry Von Erich as we close the 16th of November 1985 here in World Class. We'll be back with more action right after this.